I remind everyone that we're still awaiting final results, but at least according to the numbers so far, it seems that the Social Democrats are keeping their slight lead. However, it's not time to write off the CDU, as I've been saying since yesterday, since statistically they could still form a coalition, the so-called Jamaica coalition, with the pro-business SDP party and with the Greens, that would give them the majority in parliament and therefore would make Armin Laschet the next chancellor. This is a possibility, but at least right now it looks that the strongest party to emerge from this election is, of course, the Social Democrats. The coalition options are not clear, especially since we're still awaiting final numbers to see if the far left, the Linke party, will be part of the parliament. They're just scraping the 5% threshold at the moment, and we're still waiting to see if indeed they manage to get into the government, and if so, they could be a potential coalition partner for the SPD. This would form the dreaded, at least for the conservatives, red-red-green coalition, and could spell out a real change in policy for Germany, a government that is governed by the mostly left-wing parties. Another coalition possibility is the traffic light coalition, as it's referred to in Germany, given the fact that each party has its own color. This would be a coalition between the Social Democrats, the Greens, and, as I said, the FDP party, the Yellow Party. This would be a bit of a strange marriage between the socially committed SPD party and the pro-business FDP party. However, this is also a possibility. And of course, not to forget, the Grand Coalition can also be formed in Germany, a coalition that already governed in 3 out of Merkel's 4 terms. I don't think that this is the preferred option for the SPD, since they saw their numbers dwindle, support dwindle, every time they agreed to sit in such a coalition in the past. But with such a tight lead and such unclear numbers, anything can happen.
It certainly will be interesting to see how the chips fall when it comes to forming a coalition, something this country knows all too well as well. Polina, more than 60 million Germans over the age of 18 were eligible to vote. Talk to us about the voter turnout. Is it as big as was expected?
Well, the numbers are still out on that, but we did see long lines here in Berlin that resulted in a ballot shortage, one that could not be resolved because of the marathon that was taking place in Berlin at the time. Quite a blunder that is not characteristic to normally very organized and orderly Germany. We also seen an unprecedented number of mail-in ballots, which is why till now we are not seeing yet official results. This is also very uncommon here in Germany. Normally already by the time the polls close, the picture is clear. This is not the case this time, since there are so many votes to count. But participation has still been high, and especially since reports before the election spoke of nearly 40% of Germans who were undecided. This just motivated many to get out and vote, to make sure that a clear picture, that the future of Germany is decided perhaps sooner rather than later.
And as that process continues, 16 years as Chancellor, Polina, talk us through the legacy Angela Merkel leaves for Germany and for Europe too.
Well, of course, these are very big shoes to fill. And before the election, we've seen opinion polls come out saying that only the 52% of Germans say that they won't miss Angela Merkel. 38% said they would. Whether or not you agree with her politics, it's clear that she left a mark not only on German politics, but on world politics. So whether, of course, her track record on climate is a bit controversial. Some, of course, globally view her as the leader pushing for a stronger climate policy. Within Germany, she's seen more as somebody who succumbed to the lobby of the powerful car industry here. Also, when it comes to promoting women's rights and gender equality, not a lot has happened in this area in Germany. Even though that, of course, Merkel was a trailblazer for women, still many also female politicians, but in general, when it comes to equal pay in Germany, this is there's a lot to be done in this area. Nonetheless, nobody can deny that under Merkel, Germany has become a global leader. This is not something that can be underestimated, given the fact that, taking German history into account, of course, but the fact that Germany is viewed as the unofficial voice of Europe, that nothing in the EU happens without Merkel's support, and say so, this is something that can be credited solely to her. And whether or not her successor will be able to fulfill the same role on the international stage, that will probably take some time before this is achieved again.